Good afternoon students. This is Saraswati KB, Assistant Professor, Government First Aid College, Tiptur. In this video, we will look into reading comprehension techniques. Reading is the foundation for success. When students develop reading habits early in their lives, they are more likely to be successful in school, work, and life in general. Some people think of the act of reading as a straightforward task that is easy to master. In reality, reading is a complex process that draws on many different skills. Together, these skills lead to the ultimate goal of reading comprehension, or understanding what has been read. Reading comprehension can be challenging to students in a lot of ways. Whatever the cause, knowing the skills involved can help the students to learn reading skills. Here are some of the essential reading skills needed for reading comprehension and tips on what can be done for students to improve these skills. The first reading skill is decoding. Decoding is a vital step in the reading process. Students use this skill to sound out words they have heard before but haven't seen written out. The ability to do that is the foundation for other reading skills. Decoding relies on an early language skill called Phonemic Awareness. This skill is part of an even broader skill called Phonological Awareness. Phonemic Awareness lets students hear individual sounds in words known as phonemes. It allows them to play with sounds at the word and syllable level. Decoding also relies on connecting individual sounds to letters. For instance, to read the word sun, students must know that the letter S makes the S sound. Grasping the connection between the letter or group of letters and the sounds they typically make is an important step towards sounding out words. Thus, this ability is included in the second skill, that is phonics. The best way for students is to pick up the broad skills of phonological awareness naturally by being exposed to books, songs, and rhymes. One of the early signs of reading difficulties is trouble with rhyming, counting syllables, or identifying the first sound in a word. Students can build phonological awareness at home through activities like word games and reading together. Vocabulary is to understand what you are reading. Before you understand vocabulary, you need to understand most of the words in the text. A strong vocabulary is a key component of reading comprehension. Students can learn vocabulary through instruction. The more words students are exposed to, the richer their vocabulary becomes. Students can build their vocabulary by having frequent conversations on variety of topics. Telling jokes and playing word games is a fun way to build this skill. Fluency is also one of the comprehension skills. To read fluency, students need to instantly recognize words. Fluency speeds up the rate at which they can read and understand the text. Sounding out or decoding every word can take a lot of effort. Word recognition is the ability to recognize whole words instantly by sight without sounding them out. When students can read quickly and without making too many errors, they are fluent learners. Fluent readers read smoothly at a good pace. They group words together to help with meaning, and they use the proper tone in their voice when reading aloud. Reading fluency is essentially for good reading comprehension. Sentence construction and cohesion are also important reading skills. Understanding how sentences are built might seem like a writing skill. So might connecting ideas within and between sentences, which is called cohesion. But these skills are important for reading comprehension as well. Knowing how ideas link up at the sentence level helps students get meaning from passages and entire texts. It also leads to something called coherence, or the ability to connect ideas to other ideas in an overall piece of writing. Explicit instruction can teach students the basics of sentence construction. For example, teachers can work with students on connecting two or more thoughts through both writing and reading. Understanding the meaning of the text is also a complex skill which requires time and practice to develop fully. Reasoning and background knowledge helps to use the background knowledge with inferences and draw conclusion. Most readers relate what they have read to what they know. So it is important for students to have background or prior knowledge about the world when they read. They also need to be able to read between the lines and pull out meaning even when it is not literally spelled out. For example, a student is reading a story about a poor family in the 1930s. Having knowledge about the Great Depression can provide insight into what is happening in the story. The students can use that background knowledge to make inferences and draw conclusions. Students can build background knowledge through reading, conversations, movies, TV shows, and art. Life experience and hands-on activities also builds knowledge. Students can make connections between new knowledge and existing knowledge. They can also watch some animated videos to make inferences. Another important reading skill is working memory and attention that I should have included here, but anyhow I will brief it. These two skills, working memory and attention, are both part of a group of abilities known as executive function. When students read, attention allows them to take in information from the text. Working memory allows them to hold on to that information and use it again to gain meaning and build knowledge from what they are reading. There are many ways students can improve their working memory. Skill builders don't have to feel like work either. There are a number of games and everyday activities that can build working memory for students. Some students may like graphic novels. Students should read, stop and reread when something is not clear. Okay, these are some of the reading skills which are essential for reading comprehension. Now let us move on to reading techniques. The first reading technique is skimming. Skimming, sometimes referred to as just reading, means going through the text to grasp the main idea. Scanning is another reading technique. It involves the technique of rejecting or ignoring irrelevant information from the text to locate a specific piece of information. Another reading technique is intensive reading. It involves close reading that aims at the accuracy of comprehension, and extensive reading lays more emphasis on fluency and less on accuracy. It usually involves reading for pleasure. Some of the common reading problems students face are issues with decoding. Beginner readers may struggle when they meet new or unfamiliar terms, but typically decoding becomes easier with repeated practice of reading the text out loud. Poor comprehension of reading skills. Some students can read but may not be able to tell what they read. This indicates a problem of incomprehension. Speed is also some of the reading difficulties. The more students read, the more they expand their vocabulary. They begin to recognize more words by sight, enable them to read faster. Mixed reading problems in students include decoding words and difficulty with comprehension. They have challenges when it comes to reading words, retaining information, and understanding the text. Thus, reading comprehension is a complex skill. You have to remember decoding, fluency, and vocabulary skills are key to reading comprehension. Being able to connect ideas within and between sentences helps understand the whole text. Reading aloud and talking about experiences can help students build reading skills. Thus, dear students, you may be struggling with one or more of these skills. They can trouble you while understanding the text. Learn about what can cause trouble with reading. Keep in mind that having reading difficulties does not mean that you are not smart, but you need some extra support and encouragement to make progress. I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching.